Hey there, comic book fans. I'm John Anderson, and I just watched episode 16 of Gotham, and it was pretty good. Very reminiscent of Shawshank Redemption, with Jim being imprisoned in Blackgate Prison. But before we go any further, keep in mind I'm going to be going through key plot points from the episode. So if you haven't seen it yet, here is your spoiler warning. And there it goes. Now, the episode starts with Jim trying to set himself a little routine so that way he stays out of trouble and is able to get out as quickly as possible. But it appears that the warden has it out for Jim and moves him to the F-Wing, where we have a lot of criminals that Jim imprisoned there in the first place. Next, Harvey visits Jim in prison, and he has the horrible news that Lee had a miscarriage and has disappeared from Gotham altogether. And obviously this is heartbreaking, not only for the audience, but Jim, and he warns him to make sure that this doesn't break him. And it appears that the warden has set up an arrangement with one of the inmates to harass Jim to make him break in this regard. And this inmate had a brother that was part of the Red Hood gang who Jim killed when he was taking them down in the beginning of the season. Next, we meet this inmate Puck, who takes some of the beating for Jim, and Jim warns him that he shouldn't be involved in saving him because he has all these guys out for his head. But Puck has this real sense of morality to him, that even though he's in there for a petty crime, stealing a car, he's not going to end up like his grandfather who died in prison. Now, the final attempt at Jim's life takes place during a movie night where he's brutally stabbed and presumed dead. But we learn it was a ruse formulated by Harvey and Carmine Falcone, who makes a return to the series, which was a very nice surprise for me and a great assist for Jim. Now, before they escape the prison, Jim has to go save Puck because he saved him, and he felt it would only be right to help them both escape. Unfortunately for Puck, he dies as they clear the prison, but he has a nice silver lining that he didn't die in prison like he wanted to. Then Jim has to make a decision on whether to return to Gotham or not. Obviously, he wants to return to Gotham to clear his name and figure out what happened to Lee. Now, the second plot line in this episode deals with the Von Dahl family, who has taken in Oswald as their own. Now, Oswald's been bonding with his father Elijah, and he decides that he wants to give all of his inheritance to Oswald versus the rest of his family. And we learn that Elijah's wife is a gold digger in a sense that she really wants that fortune. That's the only reason that she's with him. So that leads to a couple tries by the remainder of the Von Dahl family to try to expose Oswald as a criminal. And Elijah doesn't really take to that because he understands that Oswald's moved on from his past. And he also hints that there's this element of madness or rage within the Von Dahl family, that his father had it, and he suspects that Penguin has some connection with that madness. Then the mother tries to use the daughter to entice Penguin and seduce him, but obviously Penguin, like a normal person, isn't really interested in incest because he looks at these people as his family. And finally, the mother tries to poison Penguin, but due to unforeseen circumstances, Elijah drinks the poison and dies, leading the idea of the fortune kind of a mystery right now. And I'm assuming that's going to lead Penguin into his madness again, and he's going to be obsessed with getting this fortune, which I think he obtains in the comics. And speaking of the comics, another Easter egg that I noticed was Elijah's monocle, and in the comics, Penguin is also sporting a monocle, so I wouldn't be surprised if next episode he takes that as a memento of his father. So that's my thoughts on episode 16. If you guys like this video, be sure to share and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook at John Ryan Anderson, or on Instagram and Twitter at The Comic Look. Remember guys, as always, comics do deserve a second look.